In my previous video, I removed the mill scale from the pieces using a vinegar solution. In order to begin riveting, I would need to temporarily assemble the piece using bolts. The rivets I had in stock were oversized for this project, and I had to cut each one down to accommodate a shorter grip length. While waiting for the rivets to get up to temp, I preheated the piece as well as the rivet snaps. This helps prevent the piece from acting as much as a heat sink and pulling heat from the rivets too quickly before the rivet can be squashed. Once the rivets are glowing, I can start the process. One of the challenges I had with building this press was the hydraulic pump as well as the cylinder. The pump is a 10,000 psi unit that runs off of 120 volts and is very slow. The cylinder also is a single stage, which uses an internal spring instead of a reverse flow of hydraulic fluid to retract the cylinder, which significantly slows the process. Although this prototype is not operating as fast as I had hoped, it seems to keep up with a one-man riveting operation, and this gas saver torch valve has really saved a lot of time. I think the entire rivet press build with the plates, hardware, and VVOR pump and cylinder cost me under $1,500 to build. I'm sure an Enerpack 220 volt pump would work a lot better, but for a functioning press, I couldn't beat the price. Another challenge I had when designing this piece was rivet placement. Historical field rivets were usually placed using pneumatic rivet guns. But because I live in a residential neighborhood, pneumatic guns would be far too loud. This being the reason why I have a massive rivet press stuffed into my two-car garage. One issue with the press is squashing rivets in hard-to-reach areas. It was for this reason I decided to place hidden welds in the connecting point. I had waited to drill the holes for the lacing bars until the base was permanently fastened. I was afraid that the heat distortion from the welds would make my original layout inaccurate. Once all the holes were drilled, I then bolted the assembly together to be riveted. One of the challenges I had with this piece was having a shortage of hands. Every time I set the hot rivet and went to place the piece inside the jaws of the press, the rivet would fall to the ground. As a solution, I repurposed some automotive snap ring pliers to act as a clamp till the base was inserted into the jaws of the press. In a previous video, I had some challenges when squashing rivets against the tapered flange of the channel. Some viewers suggested grinding a matching taper on the rivet snap, and that seemed to work really well. Once the riveting was complete, I cleaned and scuffed the surface with a wire brush and steel wool. This was one of my first attempts at the blackening process. I had done some experimenting with different oils to figure out which patina I preferred, and I ended up liking plain old WD-40 the best. I had some viewers recommend boiled linseed oil, but I found it to leave too dark of an appearance. I like WD-40 because it left more of a brownish tone that looks similar to rust on an old bridge. After multiple heating and oiling cycles, I reached the color I had in mind. Once the piece had cooled down, I wiped away all the excess oil. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel to see part 3 of this build. Thanks for watching.